Demotion by Dr. Bak Nguyen and William Bak. The sulfurous stench of the underworld permeated the air, a noxious reminder of their descent into the demon-infested depths. Mikael stood amidst the carnage, his celestial armor casting an ethereal glow that danced across the jagged walls of the cavern. The light caught the edges of his wings, now folded tightly against his back, their usual pristine white, marred by splatters of demon blood and grime. His piercing blue eyes, blazing with a fury that seemed to rival the fires of hell itself, swept across the blood-soaked floor. Dozens of red demon corpses lay strewn about, their twisted forms a grotesque testament to the battle that had raged mere moments ago. Each face that Mikael's gaze fell upon only stoked the fire of his anger, for none of them bore the distinctive azure hue of their intended target. With a barely suppressed growl, Mikael's attention snapped to Lucifer. The fallen angel stood nonchalantly amidst the chaos, leaning against a rusted iron crate with an infuriating smirk playing across his lips. His tousled dark hair and the playful glint in his eyes gave him the air of someone who had just enjoyed a mildly amusing game, rather than participated in a catastrophic mission failure. Mikael, seething.
Lucifer, you incompetent fool, we had one job. One! Take down the blue demon. How in heaven's name did you manage to decimate an entire clan of red ones instead?
Lucifer, grinning.
Oh, come on, Mikael. You're always so caught up in the minutia. Red, blue, they all bleed the same, don't they? Besides, I'd say we did heaven a favor. Fewer demons to worry about, right?
Mikael's wings fluttered in agitation, sending small eddies of dust swirling around his feet. His normally impeccable armor, a symbol of his unwavering dedication to duty, now bore the smudges and dents of their ill-fated mission. Mikael through gritted teeth.
This isn't a joke, Lucifer. Our orders were specific. This travesty reflects poorly on both of us.
Lucifer, feigning innocence.
Ah, lighten up, old friend. It's not like anyone's keeping score. Well, except you, of course. Always the perfect little soldier, aren't you?
Mikael's fists clenched at his sides, the leather of his gauntlets creaking under the strain. He took a menacing step towards Lucifer, closing the distance between them until they were mere inches apart. Mikael, voice low and dangerous.
Listen here, you lazy, good-for-nothing excuse for an angel. Lives are at stake. Our reputation is on the line. We can't afford your carelessness.
Lucifer, leaning closer, a mischievous glint in his eyes.
Oh, Mikael, always so serious. You know what your problem is? You've got that halo stuck so far up your...
Mikael, cutting him off.
Don't you dare finish that sentence. This isn't the time for your sophomoric humor. We need to fix this mess before...
His words were abruptly drowned out by a low, ominous rumble that reverberated through the cavern. Both angels froze, their bickering momentarily forgotten as they exchanged a brief look of concern. The ground beneath their feet trembled, small pebbles skittering across the blood-slicked floor. Lucifer, smirking.
Well, looks like we've stirred up the hornet's nest. Care for a little unexpected adventure, partner?
Mikael, exasperated.
This is exactly what I was afraid of. Your recklessness is going to get us both killed, or worse, demoted.
As the rumbling grew louder, the cavern walls began to shake, sending cascades of dust and small rocks raining down upon them. Lucifer drew his weapon, a blade that seemed to absorb the light around it, leaving trails of shadow in its wake. A playful grin spread across his face, transforming him from a troublesome comrade to a warrior ready for battle. Lucifer, twirling his blade.
Come on, Mikael. Where's your sense of fun? Nothing like a little demon horde to get the blood pumping, eh?
Mikael, reluctantly readying his own weapon.
One of these days, Lucifer, your fun is going to be the death of us both.
Lucifer, winking.
But what a glorious death it'll be. Now shall we dance?
No sooner had the words left his lips than the far wall of the cavern exploded inward. A wave of enraged demons burst through the newly formed opening, their eyes glowing with hellfire and their claws gleaming in the dim light. The horde was a writhing mass of scales, fangs, and fury, all focused on the two angels who had dared to invade their domain. Mikael and Lucifer stood back to back, a reluctant but formidable team. Despite their differences, there was an undeniable synergy between them, a shared understanding born from countless battles fought side by side. As the demon horde advanced, Mikael felt the familiar rush of adrenaline coursing through his veins, his earlier frustration giving way to the calm focus of a warrior prepared for battle. Mikael, sighing.
I don't know why I put up with you.
Lucifer, chuckling.
Because, my uptight friend, I make your life interesting. Now, let's show these demons why we're heaven's finest, even if we're a bit colorblind.
With a shared nod, they launched into battle. Mikael's spear was a blur of light, each thrust precise and devastating, while Lucifer's blade danced through the air, leaving trails of darkness in its wake. They moved in perfect harmony, covering each other's blind spots and striking down demons with ruthless efficiency. As they fought, Mikael couldn't help but marvel at the contradictions that made up their partnership. Lucifer's recklessness and his own caution, chaos and order, darkness and light. Somehow, against all odds, they balanced each other out. It was infuriating, exhilarating, and strangely comforting all at once. Lucifer, mid-battle.
Hey, Mickey! I bet I can take down more demons than you. Loser buys drinks at the Celestial Tavern.
Mikael, rolling his eyes.
This isn't a game, Lucy. But you're on. I could use a free drink after this mess.
The battle raged on, the cavern echoing with the clash of weapons and the screams of falling demons. And through it all, Mikael found himself thinking that perhaps, just perhaps, there was no one else he'd rather have by his side in this moment than his insufferable, brilliant, loyal partner. But he'd be damned if he ever admitted that to Lucifer. As the last demon fell, dissolving into acrid smoke, an eerie silence fell over the cavern. Mikael lowered his spear, its celestial glow dimming as the immediate threat passed. He turned to face Lucifer, who was casually wiping his shadowy blade on the tattered remains of a demon's cloak. Lucifer, smirking.
Well, that was invigorating. Nothing like a surprise demon horde to really get the blood pumping, eh, Mickey?
Before Mikael could respond, a tremor shook the cavern, sending small rocks clattering to the floor. The rumbling grew louder, and cracks began to spiderweb across the ceiling. Mikael, urgently,
This place is coming down. We need to leave now.
For once, Lucifer didn't argue. With a shared nod, they spread their wings and launched themselves towards the cavern's entrance, dodging falling debris as they flew. They burst out into the open air just as the cave collapsed behind them, a cloud of dust billowing out in their wake. As they soared higher, the hellish landscape below them gave way to the ethereal beauty of the celestial realm. The transition was jarring, a stark reminder of the two worlds they constantly straddled in their roles as heaven's enforcers, Lucifer breaking the tense silence.
So, about that blue demon.
Mikael, wings stiffening.
Don't.
Lucifer pressing on.
Look, I know things didn't go exactly according to plan.
Mikael, voice rising in disbelief.
Exactly according to plan? Lucifer, we obliterated an entire clan of red demons, started a cave-in, and completely failed to capture our actual target. In what universe is that not exactly according to plan?
Lucifer, shrugging mid-flight.
We're still alive, aren't we? And hey, fewer demons in the world. I'd call that a win.
Mikael opened his mouth to retort, but the words died on his lips as he caught sight of a familiar figure waiting for them at the gates of the celestial city. Archangel Ezekiel stood there, his expression unreadable but his posture radiating disappointment. As they landed, Mikael instinctively straightened his posture, while Lucifer affected a casual stance that bordered on insolence. Mikael, hesitantly.
Ezekiel, we can explain.
Ezekiel, raising a hand.
Save it. The council is convening as we speak. Your performance has not gone unnoticed.
Lucifer, eyebrows shooting up.
The full council? For a little mix-up? Isn't that a bit excessive?
Ezekiel, gaze hardening.
A little mix-up that has destabilized an entire region of the underworld and allowed our primary target to escape. Your actions have consequences, Lucifer. It's time you learned that.
As Ezekiel ushered them towards the grand halls where the angelic council held court, Mikael felt a growing sense of dread. He'd always prided himself on his dedication to duty, on being the perfect soldier. Now, because of Lucifer's recklessness and his own failure to rein it in, everything he'd worked for was in jeopardy. Lucifer.
Oh, cheer up, Mickey. What's the worst they could do? Make us write lines? I will not confuse red demons for blue ones 1,000 times.
Mikael's response was cut short as the massive doors of the council chamber swung open before them. The room beyond was a study in celestial grandeur, with soaring columns and a domed ceiling that seemed to contain the very essence of starlight. At its center, arranged in a semicircle, sat the members of the angelic council. As Ezekiel took his place among the council members, Mikael and Lucifer stood before them, awaiting judgment. The air crackled with tension, and for the first time since their ill-fated mission began, Mikael saw a flicker of genuine concern cross Lucifer's face. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would test not only their skills and teamwork, but also the very foundations of their beliefs and loyalties. The celestial realms were changing, and Mikael and Lucifer found themselves at the heart of a storm that would reshape the balance between heaven, hell, and everything in between. The celestial training grounds buzzed with anticipation as the newly formed squadrons gathered, their wings glinting in the ethereal light. Team Omega stood apart, a motley crew of fallen archangels and untested cadets, their demeanors as mismatched as their skills. Gabrielle's voice cut through the murmur, her authority radiating across the assembled angels. Gabrielle.
Today marks the beginning of your journey as teams. Your mission is to locate and capture a red-colored demon alive. This isn't just a test of your individual prowess, but of your ability to function as a cohesive unit.
Her gaze lingers on Lucifer and Mikael.
Yes, for your first task, you'll be cleaning up after the legendary failure of our 2 former archangels, now cadets.
Lucifer's smirk widened, a mischievous glint in his eyes as he leaned towards Mikael.
Oh, great. We're demoted, and now we're back doing the same job without pay. Can't catch a break, can we, Mikael?
Mikael, gritting his teeth.
Just what I needed, Lucifer. You have only yourself to blame for this fiasco, you imbecile.
Gabrielle's eyebrow arched, her keen hearing catching their exchange.
I hope you two can put your differences aside and focus on the task at hand. Try not to make the same mess twice.
Moriashal, chuckling.
Looks like we've got quite the odd couple here, lazy and uptight. This should be fun.
Xaphan, sarcastically.
Oh joy! Teaming up with the infamous duo of laziness and rigidity. I can't wait.
Xaphan's lean frame belied his strategic mind, his eyes already scanning the environment for potential advantages. Gabrielle.
All right. Let's focus, everyone. This mission requires teamwork and coordination. Team Alpha and Team Omega, you will go head-to-head on this one.
Mikael, muttering.
Let's just hope Lucifer doesn't fall asleep during the mission.
As Team Omega set off towards their designated area, the tension between them was palpable. The landscape shifted from the pristine beauty of the celestial realm to a desolate, demon-infested wasteland. Craggy rocks jutted from parched earth, and the air itself seemed to whisper with malevolent intent. Lucifer, despite his casual demeanor, kept a watchful eye on their surroundings. Mikael's rigid posture betrayed his unease, while Morichal's heavy footsteps and Zafan's silent tread created an odd rhythm to their advance. Suddenly, the eerie silence was shattered by frustrated shouts echoing across the barren plain. Team Alpha came into view, their usually pristine forms disheveled and their expressions a mix of anger and embarrassment. Mikael raising an eyebrow.
Well, seems like Team Alpha had quite the run-in with our fiery friend.
Zafan leaning against a rock, smirking.
Looks like they've made quite a mess of things. It's like watching a bunch of puppies trying to catch a butterfly.
As they approached, the extent of Team Alpha's failure became apparent. The young cadets, Baratiel, Micah, Arakiba, and Joael, stood amidst chaos, their disheartened expressions mirroring their failed attempts to capture the elusive red demon. Lucifer's eyes narrowed as he observed the scene, his mind already formulating a plan. Lucifer, stroking his chin.
Ah, it seems our fiery friend has a trick up its non-existent sleeve. It takes shape as it talks, making it tangible for a brief moment.
Morichal, curious.
So, what's the plan, Lucifer?
Lucifer, smirking.
I'll distract the red demon with a riddle, a battle of wits, while you, my dear Morichal, seize the opportunity to capture it.
Mikael's eyebrows shot up, a mixture of skepticism and grudging admiration in his eyes.
A riddle? That's your grand plan?
Lucifer, winking.
Trust me, partner. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.
As Lucifer stepped forward, his charismatic aura seeming to envelope the entire area, the rest of Team Omega watched with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. Lucifer, grinning.
All right, you fiery troublemaker, here's a riddle for you. What has a heart that doesn't beat?
The red demon, a shifting mass of flame and shadow, paused in its erratic movements. Its form coalesced slightly, curiosity overriding its chaotic nature.
An interesting question. The answer is a painting.
Lucifer, feigning disappointment.
Oh, so close, my fiery friend, but alas, you've missed the mark. The correct answer is a deck of cards. No beating hearts in those.
The red demon growled, its form flickering with irritation. In that moment of distraction, Morichal sprang into action, his wings propelling him forward with surprising agility for his size. With a triumphant grin, he enveloped the demon in his ethereal grasp. Morichal.
Gotcha.
As Team Alpha watched in disbelief, Mikael and Zafan moved to secure the perimeter, their synchronized movements speaking of years of training. Zafan, smirking at Team Alpha.
Sorry, folks. This fiery friend is under our jurisdiction. You'll have to find your own demons to chase.
The gathered teams exchanged looks of bewilderment and reluctant admiration. Gabrielle approached, her expression a mixture of amusement and approval.
Well done, Team Omega. Your unorthodox approach and quick thinking have proven successful. You've captured the red demon and demonstrated the power of teamwork in the most unexpected ways. Perhaps Lucifer and Mikael, if you had done that sooner, you would still be assassins instead of cadets. Heaven thanks you for the entertainment.
The other teams erupted in laughter. Team Omega stood silent, their victory suddenly feeling hollow in the face of continued derision. Baratiel to his team.
See? The crowd's not in their favor. Let's regroup and tomorrow we'll kick their asses.
Micah, grinning.
It was like watching a bizarre comedy show, but with a dash of supernatural action. Definitely a unique experience.
As the teams dispersed, Gabrielle addressed them one final time. Gabrielle.
Remember, angels, the power of unity and adaptability should never be underestimated. Each of you possesses unique skills and perspectives that, when combined, can achieve remarkable results.
Lucifer's trademark grin returned, though a keen observer might have noticed it didn't quite reach his eyes. Lucifer to his team.
Well, it seems we've made quite the impression today, as the biggest losers, even if we were the ones bringing the victory home. I could get used to such an abundance of attention.
Mikael, smirking.
Indeed, Lucy. Perhaps you should talk less and keep scoring instead. I can't wait to get rid of these cadet insignias.
As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the celestial realm, Team Omega made their way towards the local tavern, heads held high despite the day's mixed results. Moriashal rubbing his stomach.
Hey, who's hungry? Chasing demons is quite demanding.
Xaphan raising an eyebrow.
Sure, why not?
They entered the tavern, a curious mix of triumph and frustration radiating from them. As they settled in for a well-deserved drink, the weight of their new roles and the challenges ahead hung over them like a storm cloud. Yet, beneath the surface, a spark of camaraderie had been ignited, a spark that would need to grow into a blazing fire if they were to face the trials that awaited them. For now, they had a victory to celebrate, even if no one else would give them credit for it. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new demons to face, both literal and figurative. But for this moment, in this tavern, they were simply four angels sharing a drink and the beginnings of an unlikely friendship. This was Omega, the underdogs of the celestial realm, embarking on a journey that would test their skills, their loyalty, and the very foundations of their beliefs. Little did they know, their actions would soon set in motion events that would shake the very pillars of heaven and hell. This is Omega, the fourth volume of Legends of Destiny.